Hello, friends. I have decided that I needed to rank the Pixar movies again and put them in order from worst to best. So here's that, and I'm gonna explain why they're where they are. Okay. Coming in dead last at number 22 is Cars 2. Have you seen Cars 2? It's bad. It's Cars, but they're in Japan for some reason. And it's just, it's a movie that, okay, Cars 2, they're in a universe that everyone's cars. But, this story could be told by literally anything. It could be people, it could be like raccoons. But they don't utilize the fact that they're cars. The story could be told by anything. Okay. Number 21, Monsters University. I'm just angry with Monsters University because you can't end Monsters Inc. the way that you did and then make a prequel 10 years later. That shit pisses me off. I'm upset. Still, it's been 7 years since Monsters University came out. I'm still mad. Number 20 is Good Dinosaur. Now, I've seen this movie at least 4 times, and I could not tell you the plot. I could not tell you anything except for that the dinosaur's name is Arlo, and that's only because that's a cool name. So, it's just sort of unextraordinary, and I don't think it's that great. If it was great, I'd remember what goes on. Number 19 is Cars 3. It was mostly nostalgia and stuff. It was Lightning McQueen teaches new car how to be race car, but she just tell him he old. And that's the whole thing. Controversial opinion. Number 18. Toy Story 3. I know a lot of people like Toy Story 3. They really like Toy Story 3. But it's the exact same plot as Brave Little Toaster. To the point where it ends with them almost being pulled into a furnace. It's the exact same movie. No. Okay, in 17, Incredibles 2. I enjoyed it when I watched it the first time. I feel like I enjoyed it mostly because of the hype and because it was ooh yeah, finally a sequel to Incredibles is, yeah. But it was just, the plot wasn't great. It was kind of predictable, and it was just, I don't know why. It didn't have the heart that the first one had. Because, the first one has a lot of, adult issues and, the strain of their marriage and stuff. But we don't really see that with Incredibles 2. It's just oh, Violet likes boys, shoot water out nose. And that's the entire plot. Number 16 is Finding Dory. I actually liked Finding Dory. I saw it in theaters. But, the thing I like about Finding Dory was mostly the new characters. So, I feel like maybe they should have just made a new movie using these characters. I don't know why they needed to ruin the old characters. I really liked Hank. He's a septopus. I think that's freaking cool. I really liked that. But, it wasn't that great. Definitely in comparison to Finding Nemo, it wasn't that great. Number 15, I have Onward. I really liked Onward when I watched it the first time, but looking back at Onward, months after having watched it, I don't think it has the staying power. Because, it might, but I don't know, man. It touched me and it made me cry. But do I want to go watch it right now? Not really. Number 14, Up. I don't really have a problem with Up, except for, like, age discrepancies that don't really make sense between, like, Carl and the evil bad guy who was, like, already a full adult whenever Carl was a kid, but then they're, like, equally old men at the end. It's kind of weird, but, and, like, people say it's, like, oh, it's the saddest movie ever. Like, it's like the first 10 minutes, there's kind of sad part, and it's definitely not the saddest beginning to a movie, because Oliver and Company exists, but, whatever. Oh, that's okay. Number 13, we have Brave. Brave would probably, I don't like Brave that much, but I know that my reasons are silly. I don't like Brave that much because I don't think that Pixar should count as a Disney princess. I don't think Merida should count as a Disney princess. And I think that just throwing, like, I don't know, that doesn't sit right with me. And I feel like I'm the only person who cares about the validity of Disney princesses. Also, the plot of Brave could have done a lot more with that, with more feminist tones, but halfway through it becomes more of just like, I want my mom back, she's a bear now. Number 12, A Bug's Life. If you saw my previous list, A Bug's Life was like bottom 3. I feel like I'm coming around to A Bug's Life. I don't know why I'm not completely sure why I initially hated A Bug's Life. But I'm coming around to it. I really like the song in the end credits that's done by, what's his freaking name? The guy who does all the Toy Story songs. Randy Newman. And I really like the song for A Bug's Life, because it's the time of your life, so live it well. Love it. Good message. But A Bug's Life is kind of not that great. I don't see it ever getting a sequel. Like, that's the one Pixar movie I don't see them exploiting with a sequel. Number 11 is Cars. I actually really like Cars, and if I see that Cars is on, like, Freeform or something, I'll probably put it on and just, like, half watch it while I'm on my phone. It's funny. Larry the Cable Guy. It's stupid, and it's not really that meaningful, but, like, it's okay. Number 10, Toy Story 4. Wasn't really a fan. Didn't think that the story needed to go where it did. I liked how it ended, but, like, it's just wasn't, did we really need a Toy Story 4? Number 9, Inside Out. I really liked that. There was a really good depiction of, like, depression and anxiety and just really good mental health kind of things. Definitely since the main girl's like 11, 12. So it's like, that's a really hard time and people are going through stuff. It's cool to see what's going on in her head as she's like transitioning from being a child to being like a young adult. And it's just, I really like that one. Number 8 is The Incredibles. Like I said before, like, it had a really good story and a lot of adult themes with, like, I don't know, it like hints at Helen thinking that Bob is cheating on her whenever he's sneaking out to go do superhero stuff, and like, cause she finds a blonde hair, and just, I don't know, there's just like adult themes and things you don't really notice as a kid. It's like an actual, I don't want to say that the rest aren't actual movies, but it's like a movie that a serious adult person would watch. up until like the last 10 minutes where it becomes just big superhero brawl kind of thing. But before that, it's like a serious thing. I don't know. Number 7, the first Toy Story. It's really good. It really is. It was the first CGI movie. It was revolutionary. Like, it was great. But story not super great, and plus I think I might be biased because I know about the Black Friday reel, and I know that initially Woody was supposed to be a big ol' meanie and like actually kill Buzz and be very rude and sarcastic, and I don't know, I want that version. Number 6 is Monsters, Inc. It's really, the Monsters, Inc. is probably the most quotable, or at least the most quoted Pixar movie. Maybe not. That might be Finding Nemo. I don't know. But I feel like people are always saying, put that thing back where it came from, or so help me. And that's like iconic. And I don't know, it's just, I really like Monsters. It came out in what, 2001? The other day I heard, I was in an elevator and the music sounded like the opening to Monsters, Inc. And I pointed that out and somebody was like, what? And I was like, you don't have the theme song, the opening theme of Monsters, Inc.? Like, you don't know automatically what that sounds like? What's wrong with you? Whatever. Number 5 is WALL-E. I really like WALL-E. And my niece really likes WALL-E. So we've watched WALL-E a bunch of times. I remember I saw it in theaters when it came out. And I really liked it. I liked that, like, at the time when I first watched it, which was when it came out, so I want to say that was like 2008? I was in like middle school. It was the closest thing to like an artsy movie that I had seen, because it's like there's not much dialogue for like the first half of the movie, and it's just sort of WALL-E going about his life, and then when Eve shows up, he's going about his life with Eva, and Eve is just like there, and I don't know, it's quiet, but you know what these robots are feeling. You know what they're trying to say, even though they can't say anything, and that's really cool. I like how they were able to do that. Also, I like that they use Hello Dolly, because frickin' the song, what was the song even called? Put on Your Sunday Clothes. I love that song, and I love that my niece knows the words to that song because of WALL-E. It's wonderful. Number 4, Finding Nemo. Still makes me cry. During my 3-month hospital stint, it was on, and the ending part where Marlin and Nemo, like, find each other and reconcile and stuff, like, I did big ugly cries for like a really long time because I was like on a bunch of pain meds, but like just the fact that I've seen this movie a million times, and that scene just sort of the whole movie is beautiful. How it's just the underwater, everything is just, it's beautiful. If you have not watched Finding Nemo in like super HD Blu-ray, whatever the hot new best way to watch things is, like, do that because it's beautiful. Okay, we're at top 3. We at the number 3, Toy Story 2. I have ranked Toy Story 2 above Toy Story, and I will defend this until my dying day that Toy Story 2 is the best of the Toy Stories. because I don't really have a reason, but it makes me cry when Jessie sings about being abandoned, and that makes me sad. But like the Toy Story 2 works really well as a movie, and it works differently as a Pixar movie, because Pixar movies are usually, this character needs to get to this place, and that's what they spend the movie doing. But Toy Story 2, with the main plot, it's just sort of, does Woody want to go home? Does Woody want to go to the museum? Like, what does Woody want is the question. And then we have Buzz trying to get him back. But, like, what does Woody want is the question. And it's not just, like, an adventure or, like, a quest. And I like that it's different. At number 2, we have Ratatouille. And Ratatouille is... It's one of those animated movies that could have been live action, and I love that. And it's like an adult, a serious full-time adult, but like just like an actual movie person could watch Ratatouille and enjoy it, because it's like it has a few funny lines. It's got funny parts for kids. It is a Pixar movie, but it's mostly it's serious and deals with like a lot of themes around friendship, about keeping commitments when you've made new commitments, adapting to change is a big thing. And it's just, even Remy's storyline with his family and stuff, it's good. The whole entire movie is good, except like the chase scene. Like, why is there even a chase scene with the one really short head chef guy on like a Vespa? Like, why does that chase scene need to even be there? That's my only complaint about Ratatouille. So if you've been keeping track of these 22 movies, you know already that my number 1 is Coco. And this is because Coco. Okay, so the first time that I watched Coco, I watched like half of it, and then I went to sleep, and the next morning I watched the other half. Somehow, I don't know if I'm just like really stupid, or I wasn't really paying attention the first time that I watched it, but like, I did not see it coming that freaking people have names, I can't remember them, that he was actually the grandfather and not the other guy, and just like didn't see it coming, and then I ugly cried at that the first time I saw it, and I probably still cry a little bit at that part now, but the ending of Coco, the ending is just like, okay, this whole family has this whole big giant thing about no music is bad, and the freaking like, what's the word, Alzheimer's, dementia, great grandma, who's barely aware that she's even a person. Like, she's just existing at this point. She's like not there. And it turns out that the only way to get any kind of cohesive personness from her is music. And, like, all this time, she's, like, old as hell, I'm assuming in her 90s. And all this time, all it took was the music. And it was just... And then she wants to talk about her papa. And, like, she's just from that one song that she sang with her papa whenever she was, like, what, 5, 6? When, I think she was 6, right? Whenever he left and then, like, never came back because he died. That song brought back all those memories from, like, 80 years ago. And she's talking coherently about her papa, showing everyone in the family pictures, telling everyone about her papa. And it brought her back. And it is just, it's heartbreaking, but it's beautiful. And if I keep talking about it, I'm going to start crying. But it's just, I cannot watch Coco without crying. I definitely have had a complete emotional breakdown because of Coco, and like 90% of why I now live with my sister and my niece is because I watched Coco when I was living with my dad, who lives like 2 hours away, and I never got to see my niece, and I watched Coco and I was like, she's gonna forget me. Like, it was a whole thing. It was like I was really worried about my niece forgetting me. But now she just sort of, like, doesn't like me. And she just calls me names. So, like, I don't know what I accomplished by moving here. But anyway, number 1 is Coco. Yay, Coco. Now, who wants me to sing Un Pollo Loco? What color is the sky? I'm not gonna do that to you. So I'm done. This video is much too long. It's gonna take a really long time to upload to YouTube. But, like, bye.